tropical storm. So that is an agreement with that cone. You'll notice how it continues to drive its way through the eastern portions of the Gulf of Mexico through Monday, really into the Monday night and into Tuesday. Ahead of it, that's when we can start to feel some of those impacts. That outer flow around anything tropical in the Gulf of Mexico will help to throw some increased winds along the coast, and of course, some of those rain bands and some of those heavier downpours. And that can start as early as Monday night going into Tuesday. But notice the center of it staying over the Gulf of Mexico and trying to push up towards that Big Bend region, maybe around Sea or Key, or looking a little bit closer to the eastern half of the right in that region. The center is where it's wanting to drift off to in this particular model. And this one has actually been pretty consistent with that placement and that timing. Let me take you to the GFS because this one has been changing on us back and forth over the past couple of runs. It has a similar aspect as far as Sunday and into early Monday, wanting to stay right over that Yucatan channel, but then it does push off a little bit quicker as it makes its way through the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and it actually wants to go just a tad bit more to the west, and that would actually take it more into the panhandle. The further west you have the center, the lower amount of impacts we would notice here immediately in the Tampa Bay area. I do think we'll still get quite a bit of those breezy winds and those bands of rain moving through, but it also brings the system up towards the coast a little quicker, which means you don't have a whole lot of time to throw water into the Tampa Bay area, meaning storm surge. That would be less of a concern with that part of the forecast. Again, that will continue to change, but that's kind of what we're looking at with some of the latest models. European also showing the bulk of the heaviest rain with the system, likely going to be sitting right around the eastern half of the center of that storm, but it will be over the Gulf of Mexico. However, right along the coast, two things going on. If a system just sits right off the west Florida and drives
looks like that with tropical
you've got
storm
quite a bit of
or
that heavy rain
hurricane
associated
coming
with
this
it that will
way.
impact our coastal regions at the most. We also will have some storm surge impacting the coastal areas, especially the barrier islands. That looks like that's where things could be the more problematic, especially for the bulk of that storm surge concern. 3 to 5 feet
I've been
will be
so
possible,
busy, man.
primarily along those barrier islands, but that would be at high tide, which we're going to have a few rounds of that, a few hours of high tide.
Get ready and try to do this and that.
So that 3 to 5 foot storm surge, that won't be for all up and down the immediate coast for everyone. That's going to be in some spots more so than others that will feel that impact. But that'll be the main concern that we would have to watch for anything that would be trying to drive some of that water up along the immediate coast, depending again just how far off the coast the center of that system would brush by. Rainfall totals, those are going to be a widespread because I do think the heaviest rain will try to trickle right along the immediate coast. That's where we could see 5-6 inches or more from this entire event. The further inland you go, that's where things will be a little bit closer to 3, maybe 4 inches of rainfall, which we can actually take. We can handle that because we are dealing with a severe to extreme drought along parts of the immediate coast. So our soil is kind of ready for that amount of water. But we will be talking about really keeping a very close eye on tropical impacts, either from a tropical storm, a strengthening tropical storm, or possibly now maybe a low-end Cat 1 hurricane, which again could still be something very serious that we'd have to watch out for. Impacts when it comes to rain and to that wind, we would see some of those impacts start to kind of brush up on the southern counties as early as Monday night.
And we're under
the bulk of parts of west central Florida could see
that.
Just
let me know. Let me know if you feel, and I will mod you.
Impacts, that has a little bit of a lower confidence because it would going to depend just how far off the immediate coast we would see that center of circulation, as well as how quickly this storm moves to see if it is able to actually move to a stronger tropical storm or a low-end hurricane. So we'll be fine-tuning every single bit of this forecast for you as we go through the next several days. As mentioned, the next name on the list is Idalia, and that is likely what we're going to be talking about. If it's not later tonight, it for sure will be through your Sunday forecast tomorrow. So we'll be here live once again at 8:30 tonight, and of course over on 10 Tampa Bay.
All right, I'll mod you so that you don't get ticked, all right?
Everything you need to know here at 10 Tampa Bay.
There. Well, I'm gonna mod you, bro, because I don't want you to get sick, man. Alright then. I'm just alright. There. Let's go here, brother. Very. Alright, buddy. Well, of course well, of course I know the truth. I can tell by your name. Yeah, and the state of Florida, I think on the west coast, from here all the way up, we're under alright, but we are under a state of emergency. So, man, it's been a hectic day. Trying to get all the information out, trying to figure out what we're gonna do. And I've been through these type of systems before, so I know what to expect. I know what could happen. I'm I'm getting ready for it, making sure my camera has enough batteries, and so I'm gonna try very hard to get to get footage of this.
Evening to you. I'm 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist Natalie Ferrari. We are your hurricane headquarters, and we have been getting new data just in from the National Hurricane
Those
Center
are the
for
two
the past
systems
hour. Several rounds of activity
came up
launched
after
across the
the
tropics. Thankfully, those
yeah,
areas of disturbed
may
weather in the
come
Atlantic
here,
came
but I
down
don't
from
know
strength
yet.
to
The
light
other
rain.
one,
And yes, we do have a
Frankie,
Hurricane Franklin heading towards Bermuda
but he's gonna
early
come in
next
here.
week.
He's
So we're not
going
worried
out to
about that one
sea,
as
so
well. But the big story for us here locally is going to be this one right here that we will track detail by detail, hour by hour for you as we go through the rest of the weekend and into next week, because it is officially an organized system. We have a closed low. We do have Tropical Depression 10 on the map. This is something that is going to be sticking around through the weekend. That stationary status. This is barely moving right along the Yucatan Channel, so right between Cancun and western Cuba. The center is positioned just right here. And
it's
over the
not,
last
man.
several scans, we have seen just that convection continue to fire up all through to the east of it and even down towards the south and north of the center of this system, continuing to see them kind of bubble up, reform, and then kind of dwindle down. That pattern looking to continue for the next 24 to possibly near 36 hours. We're talking about a nearly stationary system, which in that time window could allow it that wind speed to start to bump up, get a little stronger, and take it to that tropical storm status. So I do think by the end of the weekend, we could actually be dealing with a named storm, a tropical storm, and that would be Idalia. That would be the next name on the list. You actually see how
Or
it circles around itself over the
or
next 24
hurricanes.
hours. Then it actually gets a little bit of forward momentum to the north, right out of the Yucatan Peninsula by Monday. Through Monday afternoon and evening, we are now entering those warm Gulf waters in the Gulf of Mexico. And the National Hurricane Center is now thinking not only could this strengthen to a tropical storm status through Tuesday, but possibly by Tuesday night, a low-end Category 1 hurricane. You need 74-mile-per-hour winds or higher to get it to a hurricane status. We may briefly touch that 75-mile-per-hour wind speed, which will actually help to
And
grow to that Category 1
I'm
status
kind of in the
before
cone, but
drifting
not
its way
very
towards the
good.
northeastern portions of the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is something very important to note.
It,
This
oh,
track
hey
does
Terry.
not represent areas of impact. This
You
track
know,
represents where the center of that storm could fall. So it
yeah,
could be as
the
far
track
west
it
of that
will
track,
change.
so we're talking the Panhandle, or
I'm
as
good,
far
man.
east,
Near you.
which is right there in the Tampa
the
Bay area,
track will change.
Pinellas
It'll
counties.
flip
So
flop.
that is basically where that track can toggle
So
to
anywhere in
as
that
we go through the
cone,
next couple of
that's
days.
where it could
It will
possibly
not
go.
follow directly down the center. It could be on either side. That is how that track does
So
basically
people
work and how it does have that
Tampa
wide
all
spread
the way up to
once
the
you do get
Panhandle.
several days out. And you'll see that as it continues to track its way through the southeastern portions of the United States by the middle of next week, it will weaken out towards this East Coast as it does so. But
And these
there
are
has been
the
quite a bit of a
models.
widespread as far as how far either to the east or to the west the center of this system could
The
actually
track will
develop.
change.
And you'll notice over the
It
next
could
couple of
possibly
days, we'll
become
be
a
seeing
tropical
these
storm
fine tune. We'll see them kind of start to
by
cluster a
tonight.
little
If
closer and
not,
closer
then
together
possibly
as far as how
tomorrow.
wide that spread is. But let me show you some of our computer models. Basically, why one
Yeah,
in the Panhandle, one
that'll
over most
happen
of
with
the
the
major
tropical
coast or the
systems.
Big Bend area. Well, here's what's going on. We have our European model. This one has been picking
And
up
I've
on
been
this
through
cluster of
these
moisture
type of
for
systems,
days
so
now. And it is an
just
agreement that
I know
right
what's
over
gonna
in
happen.
Cancun, right in
I've
that
been through
Yucatan
them,
channel,
so
we're not going to have a whole lot of momentum. We're not going
I've
to have a
been
whole lot
through
of
them a
movement,
lot.
which could help this system go from a tropical depression to a tropical storm. So that is an agreement with that cone. You'll notice how it continues to drive its way through the eastern portions of the
Yeah,
Gulf of Mexico through Monday,
not many
really into
good
Monday
people.
night and into Tuesday. Ahead of it, but that's when we can start to feel some of those impacts. That outer flow around anything tropical in the Gulf of Mexico will help to throw some increased winds along the coast and of course some of those rain bands and some of those heavier downpours. And that can start as early as Monday night going into Tuesday.
Yeah, it's
But
just
notice the center
another
of it
day,
staying
but
over the Gulf of
it's
Mexico
been
and
so
trying to
dry
push up out of
here.
that Big Bend
Yeah,
region.
we have
You'll now
rain
see your key
every
or looking
afternoon,
close
but
to the eastern half of the Panhandle, but right in that
I
region,
haven't been
the
able to go
center
out
is
chasing
where
at
it is
all.
wanting to drift off to
Now,
in this
hopefully, this will
particular
be my
model. And
chance.
this one has actually been pretty consistent with that placement and that timing. Let me
Since
take
I
you
have a
to the
new
GFS
camera,
because this one has been changing on us back
definitely
and forth
gonna
over the
test
past
it
couple of
out.
runs. It has a similar aspect as far as Sunday and into early Monday wanting to stay right over that
Photo
Yucatan
by
channel,
night,
but then it
born
does
and
push off
raised.
a little bit quicker as it makes its way through the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and it actually wants to go just a tad bit more to the west, and that would actually take it more into the Panhandle. The further west you have the center,
And
the
I knew this
lower
was
amount of
gonna
impacts we
happen.
would notice
I
here
just knew it.
immediately in the Tampa Bay area. I do think we'll still get quite a bit of those breezy winds and those bands of rain moving through. But it also brings the system
Here
up
it's
towards
been
coast a
like
little
what
quicker, which means
temperatures have
we don't have
been
a
like
whole lot of time to throw water into the
95,
Tampa Bay area.
96. Heat
So the
index
storm
has
surge
been
that will
like
be less of a concern with that part of the forecast.
like in the
Again, that
hundreds.
will continue to change, but that's kind of what we're looking at with
So
some of the
we
latest
definitely
models.
need the
Coming in
rain.
also showing the bulk of the heaviest rain with the system, likely going to be spinning right around the eastern half of the center of that storm, but it will be over the Gulf of Mexico. However, right along the coast, we have a few things going on. If a system just sits right off the west coast of Florida and drives up to the north, you've got quite a bit of that heavy rain associated with it that will impact our coastal regions at the most. We also will have some
So
of the storm surge impacting the coastal
sits
areas,
in the Gulf,
especially the barrier islands. That looks like that's where things could be the more
yeah.
problematic, especially
If
for
it
the
sits out
bulk
there and
of that
doesn't
storm surge
move,
concern.
then
3 to
we're gonna
5
have
feet
the
will be
rain.
possible primarily along those barrier
Then also
islands,
we're gonna
but that
have
would be
tropical
at high
storms,
tide,
force
which
winds.
we're going to have a few rounds of that, a few hours of high tide because we have a full moon by the middle of the week. So that 3 to 5 foot storm surge, that won't be for all up and down the immediate coast for everyone. That's going to
Because
be in
where
some
I
spots
am,
more
I'm
so
gonna be
than
on the
others
right side
that will
quadrant.
feel that impact.
Well,
But that'll
that's
be the main concern
what we
that we'll have
like
to
to
watch
call the
for
dirt,
anything that would be trying to
ugly
drive some of
side.
that water up along the immediate coast, depending just how far off the coast the center of that system
But
would
we
brush
will
by.
have
Rainfall
tornadoes.
totals, those are going to be a wide spread because I do think the heaviest rain will try to trickle right along the immediate coast. That's where we could see 5-6 inches or more from this entire event. The further inland you go, that's where things will be a little bit closer to 3, maybe
So
4
this is
inches of
gonna
rainfall, which
keep me busy for a while.
we can handle that because we are dealing with a severe to extreme drought along parts of the immediate coast. So our soil is kind of ready for that amount of water. But we will be talking about really keeping a very close eye on tropical impacts, either from a tropical storm, a strengthening tropical storm, or possibly now maybe a low.
And we had rain earlier, so the temperature is like
some
87 now.
to watch out for. Impacts when it comes to rain and to that wind, we would see some of those impacts start to kind of brush up on the southern counties as early as Monday night going into Tuesday. The bulk of parts of Central Florida could see that Tuesday and into Wednesday. So those are a lot of details. We're still fine tuning. Impacts, that has a little bit of a lower confidence because it really is going to depend just how far off the immediate coast we would see that center of circulation, as well as how.
Oh, come on. Come on. So it all depends how close. If it gets any closer to us, our impact will be greater. If it moves away from us, then our impact will be no. Oh, darn it.
Fine tuning every single bit of this forecast for you as we go through the next several days. As mentioned, the next name on the list is Idalia, and that is likely what we're going to be talking about. If it's not later tonight, it for sure will be through your Sunday forecast tomorrow. So we'll be here live once again at 8:30 tonight, and of course over on 10 Tampa Bay on TV at 11 o'clock with the latest updates on the tropics. We've got everything you need to know here at 10 Tampa Bay.
I don't know what else to do. Upstairs, they're free. Then, okay. Wasn't planning on going live, but this is a what the heck that is. Need the hours, so. Okay, I have nothing else right now. Um, I gotta wait for the new update to come out, which I won't be until. I think the new update will be out at 11 o'clock p.m. That's when I'll know if they upgrade it to a tropical storm. If they do, I may go live around that time. If not, then I'll probably just make a video saying, "Hey, this is a tropical storm. Here's the track." But thanks for Carrie. Haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you're doing well. My boy Nightmare. Make sure that you subscribe to me on that account, if you can, please. Like and comment, whatever. Thanks for everyone else that came. Good to see you, Terry. I haven't seen you in a while, hun. And that's all the information I have for right now. But I will hopefully have some new information soon. Once I get it, I may go live later, or I may just make a video of it. Here, you be safe too, hon. And make sure you all subscribe, hit the notifications to all so you know when I'll go live or upload. My night streams maybe I may go live. It depends on what happens with this tropical depression or tropical storm, hurricane, whatever. But thanks for coming. I know it was a last minute thing, but I'll try to go live more. Hey, heck, I might even go live when the hurricane's making landfall. So, that is if I have power. If I don't have power, then I won't be able to go live. So, talk to you soon. Be safe. If those of you that live in Florida that are subscribed to me, please make sure you have your hurricane plans in place. Make sure you have everything that you need. Listen to their proper officials, National Hurricane Center, Emergency Management. Try to get the information out there as fast as I can and be as accurate, the right information. If you hear anything else that if somebody says, "Oh, we're gonna get a Category 6 hurricane," don't listen to that because, well, they don't know what they're talking about. So, talk to y'all soon, people, and have a good evening. Bye.